One of the biggest ways Satan destroys Christian men is through destroying their testosterone. Yet nobody in the church wants to talk about it. My name is Nate, and over the last few years, I've helped dozens of Christian men restore their testosterone, their strength, and their relationship with God. Today we're going to go over the connection between low T and all of the evil in this world, and how you can restore your testosterone to serve God. Testosterone isn't just some macho buzzword. It is the hormone God gifted to men. It is our masculine essence, and without it, we cannot serve Him or live a fruitful life. We're going to dive into your symptoms, causes, and consequences of low T, but first, I got to show you a few stats that explain everything about what's going on. The first stat we got to look at is lowered church attendance. Now, over the last few decades, church attendance has dropped from 48% among men to now below 28%, especially during the pandemic. It's jumped up a little bit recently, but that is a 50% drop in just over 3 decades. Then we're going to look at depression rates. In 1990, depression was about 3 to 4% among American men. Now it's up to about 10%. This number is definitely underreported. There's also been a 400% increase in antidepressant use. You'll see what I'm getting at here in just a minute. This next stat will blow your mind. Since 1970, the sperm count among the average man has dropped by over 50%. Within a few decades, most Americans will be infertile. Then finally, the big kicker. You've probably heard about this statistic, but since 1980, the average testosterone among American men has dropped by 1 to 2% every single year. This means a 60-year-old man in 1980 has higher testosterone than a 20-year-old today. What is going on? All of these statistics are signs of Satan, and all of them are deeply connected. The lower the testosterone of the Christian male, the more these other statistics will prevail, because we do not have real leadership to save us. So now we can finally get into what is affecting your life, why, and what the consequences will be if you do nothing about it. All of these are signs that Satan is winning in your life by wrecking your hormones. And if you do not address it quickly, he will continue to destroy you. So we first are going to look at your low energy. If you're waking up in the morning and you're not energized, you're not ready to start your day, by midday you're fading and you don't have 100% of your energy to serve God to your highest level, that's likely low T. If you've got brain fog, poor focus, you can't sit still and think, get into a flow state, low T. You've got low motivation. You don't have the drive to do something great with your life because God gave you that ambition. You know what I'm getting at. If you've got muscle loss or fat gain, meaning you're going to the gym, you're not getting great results, you got a little chunk on you, you're weak, that's a huge sign of low T. If you've got low libido, if you're waking up in the morning consistently without being a lumberjack, you know what I'm saying. That is a huge sign of low libido. Even if you're not married, you should still have that drive because God gave it to you. Obviously, you need to control it, but it should be there. Then, a lack of willpower. If you are unable to overcome temptation consistently, this is a sign of your lack of testosterone and drive. We have to fix these symptoms before it becomes a huge problem. So what is causing it? As a Christian man, you have to understand that it is harder than ever to live a godly and healthy lifestyle. It is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. You have to understand what you're up against because Satan is throwing so many darts at you, trying to destroy you, and you must be aware of them. So what is causing the destruction of your testosterone? It's these things right here. First up, processed food. This is poison designed by man, not created by God, and over time, this is going to inflame you, it's going to bloat you, and it's going to cause a lot of these issues right here. Then chronic stress. We have more responsibility and pressure on us than ever before in human history. And if you're unable to cope with it correctly, this is going to tank your testosterone and so many other hormones. Then improper strength training. Maybe you're going to the gym, maybe you're doing some things, which is great, but you're likely not doing it right. If you're not using the sacrificial strength system, where you are intentionally pushing outside of your comfort zone every single workout, you are likely wasting those sessions and actually tanking your hormones due to overtraining. Then dopaminergic overload. It is easier than ever to get a reward chemical in your brain without earning it through work, through actual intimacy, or through worship. If you're earning it through fake sources, it is going to kill your drive to do anything with your life. Then a lack of sunlight. Contrary to popular belief, vitamin D is critical for your hormone function. And if you're not supplementing it and getting outside, you're not getting enough. Then no purpose or accountability. You have to have a deeper purpose than yourself, a reason to get out of bed and do something great, not just for you. And then you have to have accountability. If you don't have people in your life pushing you to be your best, whether these are your friends, your coach, whatever, you have to have this. No man is an island. If you do not address these consequences will happen, which is what Satan wants so badly for your life. So let's be aware of what will happen. What are the consequences of not fixing your testosterone as a Christian? They are catastrophic. We have to understand the first thing is passivity and leadership. What was the first mistake in the Garden of Eden? It wasn't Eve eating the fruit. It was Adam's passivity. He was right next to her. And there's nothing Satan wants more than you to sit down, shut up, and be a good little boy as evil prevails in society. You have to stand up, and if you got low T, you will literally not have the balls to do this. Next is a weak marriage or unable to find a wife. Let's face it, God designed your body, and if you are not attractive, you are not going to find a good mate. That's just basic biology. And then if you do have a wife, you are setting her and your family up for failure. Imagine what will happen if you can't lead her correctly. What's going to happen to your kids? What's going to happen to your grandkids? This is generational. If you cannot lead yourself, you're not going to be able to lead a family, which is God's greatest responsibility He gave you. Then, isolation, comparison, and shame. Satan wants nothing more than for you to feel alone. This is going to lead you comparing, destroying your confidence, and shame. And remember, guys, Romans 8 says there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. So this never will come from God. Shame is always from the devil. And if you have low T, you will not be able to understand the truth. You will eventually have zero ambition, discipline, or urgency. In this day and age, as AI becomes more and more powerful, you have to understand that within 10 to 15 years, if you are not doing something great with your life, you are going to be sitting on a couch, collecting a check, being a slave to the government. You have to have urgency now. Biggest consequence of low testosterone is spiritual dullness. Maybe Satan doesn't have to attack you spiritually. Maybe if he can just destroy your body and your hormones, you'll be too foggy, you'll have too little motivation, you'll have too little energy to actually hear God's voice. This is the biggest thing affecting Christian men who have no idea the cause of it. It is your health. It is not that you can't hear God's voice. It's not that you're being attacked spiritually. It's maybe the fact that you're not getting enough sleep. Maybe the fact you're not pushing yourself in the gym. That is destroying your relationship with God. The early church never viewed their physical and spiritual health as separate. They viewed them as one because that's how important your health is to your relationship with God. I'm getting fired up because you have to fix this in this day and age. If we don't have Christian men step up in this area, we will be destroyed. And then finally, a weak and fat body. Your primary goal with your health should not just be to look good, but that is a reflection of your care of your temple. If you're not strong, you cannot serve. If you have too much fat, you're going to be groggy. You're going to be tired, and eventually your life is going to end early. The thief wants nothing more than to steal, kill, and destroy you, as John 10:10 says. And what better way for him to do that than to destroy your health? You must take care of this area. So if by now you haven't figured out that you need to optimize your testosterone as a Christian man, Lord help you, I can't. But if you do want to fix that, I'm going to show you the 3 things you must be doing right now. All of these mechanisms are included in Called to Conquer, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in a minute. We're starting with training, which in Called to Conquer is called the Temple Transformation System. Everything we do is based off 1 Corinthians 9:27, where Paul says that he disciplines his body and makes it his slave. The body craves comfort, so we must intentionally embrace discomfort, and we do this primarily through training. What we do is load-bearing resistance training, primarily compound movements in the 4 to 8 rep range. Not only has this been proven to be the best range for muscle growth, where we're constantly pushing outside of our limits, hitting PRs almost every single week, but it also builds the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, an area of your brain that governs willpower. When you are constantly pushing outside of your comfort zone, doing things you don't want to do, you have a higher likelihood of being successful and being fulfilled. That's just basic science. Everything we do is based on strategic discomfort. It is proven to build muscle, build resilience, and build your connection to God. The 2 mechanisms we primarily use are sacrificial strength and burden bearing, which build strength, explosiveness, and functionality. Next is nutrition, or as we call it, the temple fueling system. We start with a strict whole food diet, only foods that God created, because everything that man has made, he has corrupted. Yes, it's okay if you have a processed snack here and there, enjoy your life, but if that is your primary nutrition source, it's no wonder you feel like garbage. It will fry your hormones and your willpower. We are also going to be doing regular 24-hour fasts. The early church did not view fasting as optional. They viewed it as necessity. First off, it is incredible for your spiritual connection to God because once again, you are disciplining your flesh and making it your slave. But you are also getting incredible physical benefits, such as increasing your growth hormone by up to 2,000%, as well as putting yourself in an easy calorie deficit. You will shred fat, but more importantly, your clarity and connection to God will be like never before. We are eliminating dopamine-based eating habits. If what you are eating is just based off your cravings, you will never have strength over your flesh. We will use the Dominion diet and the fasting framework to allow you to feel and look better than ever before. And then finally is recovery, or as we call it, the temple recovery system. What you have to understand is that the early church believed in strategic rhythms. And now 1,000 years later, this has been proven to be your circadian rhythm. This is the alignment of our cortisol, which is our stress hormone, our melatonin, which is our sleep hormone, as well as our testosterone. So what you have to do is you have to optimize the circadian alignment. This means going to bed and waking up at the same time every single day. You must also have proper sleep preparation. This is things such as eliminating blue light, stopping eating about an hour to 2 hours before bed, dropping your room temperature down to 68 degrees, and of course keeping everything dark at night. Then we're going into a nervous system reset. Let's face it, we are all extremely overstimulated. The technology, the stress, all of these things are just pounding at us. And if we are unable to be still and know that God is there, we will never be able to hear his voice. So we have to reset our nervous system through proper strategy. Next is our Sabbath restoration cycle. The modern form of rest is broken. It's not just sitting on your couch scrolling. That is not rest. That is just laziness in your physical body and overstimulation in your mental and spiritual health. So what you must do is do rest everywhere. We are relaxing and reconnecting with God. That is where you will actually find rest, not in some Netflix show. And then finally, we're using our regeneration regimen and stillness strategy together to give you real, lasting peace. Psalm 127:2 says, he gives his beloved sleep. If you apply all of these strategies together, your testosterone will shoot through the roof. But in this day and age, it is so hard to have true alignment with all of the things being thrown at you, which is why it's so important to have real accountability. This is why I created the Called to Conquer system. It is the only system for Christian men for true physical, mental, and spiritual alignment. And when you implement these systems with an expert coach, I guarantee you will be in the best physical shape of your life, but far more importantly, you will be deeply connected to God and his purpose for your life. If you want to learn more about Called to Conquer or have any questions, go to my Instagram and DM me the word conquer, and I'll send you the details. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.